Hello everyone. Okay, so let's begin with our session on influencing and negotiation skills. While we may think of negotiation as a skill that probably only people in purchase or admin may need, the truth is that we all negotiate all the time. We may not just be negotiating on money, but it could be on time, it could be on effort, it could be on any available resource for that matter. Hence, if you learn this basic art or if you learn this basic tool of negotiation, you do end up saving not only thousands of bucks, but a lot of time and in fact anything else that just deserves saving. And I'm going to be your trainer for today in the art of negotiation skills. I have spent years practicing and observing these simple tactics that go a long way in getting people to comply to you. So let's begin. We're going to address the following in this session. We'll talk about characteristics of people who are good influencers. We'll talk about what techniques can be employed for successful negotiation. We'll also talk about the relationships that you can build to enable cooperation and compliance. If we talk about the dictionary meaning of influence, it's the capacity or power of persons or things to be a compelling force on or to produce effects on the actions, behaviors, opinions, etc. So influence basically means affecting the other person or thing to produce a particular effect, okay, on the action or opinions or so. If we look at a practical definition, it's basically to be able to influence or affect, to be, to cast that kind of an impression or to cast that kind of power on somebody or something, that you are able to alter, change, or influence their behavior, opinions, etc. Let's understand influence more, and we'll talk about why we are talking about influence so much. Okay. See, the important thing, in fact, a very important thing is that power, influence, and negotiation are all jumbled up, they're all interrelated. So if you are influential, if you have that kind of influence over people, you automatically derive that power, and that's where it is so important, so powerful. Your influence is not just a tool, it's a weapon in your hand, and a powerful one at that. So once you have this kind of influence, you have power. Once you have power, your ability to negotiate automatically goes higher many notches. So that is the reason it's important to study all these things, all these three topics together, because they're all very, very interrelated, right? So influence therefore derives its influence from power and negotiation skills. Well, influential people are confident, trustworthy, positive, focused, goal-oriented, and action-oriented. These are basic characteristics of influential people. So we've got a matrix of 9 influential people over here. You may have your own circle of influential people. You may have your own circle of people who influence your decisions, right? And then at different levels, and that's perfectly fine. We just wanted to highlight the importance and the characteristics. So if you look at all these guys, you'll find that they're extremely confident. People have faith in them. So when they say something, then yes, people do comply. They are positive, they don't talk about negative stuff, they're supremely focused, they are goal oriented, they have clear cut goals defined for them, and they have proven that they take actions to achieve those goals. So, if you want to have this kind of influence, if you want to enjoy this kind of influence, and you want to weigh in your chances of successful negotiations, ensure that you meet these 6 characteristics for sure. Okay, your personality must reflect these. And then if Angelina Jolie comes over and requests something for you, the request itself is as good as a negotiation. You don't need to do much over there, isn't it? So let's move ahead. Okay. Now we'll talk about sphere of influence. Okay, it's a concept, very interesting concept of sphere. Okay, so we basically depict this as circles, as concentric circles The innermost circle of influence basically represent things I can control. Okay, so out of all the activities that you are involved with, particularly in terms of decision making, out of all those activities, the ones that you have full control on, that is your circle of influence. Okay, outside this circle is another circle of things or people that I care about. Okay, so here I care about these things, I really care about this stuff, but I'm not sure whether I can or I cannot control this. Okay, or for how long can I control that? So that's your circle of concern. Outside the circle is the open universe. One side are things that you think you cannot control. Okay, you just think, because you're probably just taking a very limited view of it, so you think that you cannot control, while on your left are things that you truly cannot control. They are too variable and dependent on external factors, and so you actually can't control them. Now see, the moment you increase your influence or you decide to increase your influence, the idea should be to expand this innermost circle. Okay, now as this circle goes on expanding, it covers your outer circle as well, and your circle of concern starts merging into your circle of influence. Then things that you care about, you will also be able to control. Okay, now just imagine this circle of concern or this sphere of influence in your professional standing. Okay, with whatever project you may be involved with, you can draw your own circle of influence, right? And the moment you put it out on a paper, you will be able to understand you have so much more scope to actually influence things that you thought that you cannot control. So just take some time and draw this circle of concern and circle of influence for yourself, and you'll understand there are so many things that you don't even have to do much, and you will be comfortably able to increase your circle of influence. Listening by far is the most important skill when you talk about negotiation. So a good listener not only hears what is being said, but also understands what is being meant. Okay, please understand the difference between the keywords. Listening is not equal to hearing. You hear, but when you listen, you understand what was not said. Okay, so understanding these underlying points is actually listening. So that is the reason we have 2 ears and we have just one tongue. You have to speak less and listen more, right? When you want to influence, or rather, okay, no, so much of influence on my head. No, we're not really influence, or rather, yes, influence. When you want to influence others via your amazing listening skills, you basically are taking time to understand what they say. Again, please notice the keyword understand. It's not just hearing. It's not that someone comes and rules to you and your mind is all elsewhere. You're thinking about probably, oh, what I'm going to have for dinner today. Okay, so it doesn't work that way. You take time to understand what they are saying. You assimilate all that information and then give your perspective, or probably not. You decide whether or not you have to share your perspective. Let's talk about influencing behaviors now. So building a rapport, and you build a rapport when you listen. Okay, and you cannot negotiate with a stranger. If you want to negotiate, if you want to influence, you have to build a rapport. Okay, you have to get to know the other party. And it's also a very famous saying that you cannot negotiate with a stranger. Okay, and all these things, you first connect, then you listen, then you mirror, identify, respect, relate, explain, build, and then you build a rapport. So when you do all these activities, that is when you build a rapport. So it's a time taking activity. It just doesn't happen at a click. It happens, it takes time, but when you build that rapport, your ability to influence and negotiate with these people is definitely much more. And when we talk about rapport, it's not that you have to become friends with everyone. Okay, you don't become friends. You don't make every second person a buddy. When we talk about rapport, we're basically talking about getting to know each other so that you can negotiate or so that you can influence better. The 3-step response that you can use in order to negotiate. First of all, declare your understanding, what was said and what have you understood, so that there are no communication gaps. Express your feelings and respond to the request. You express your feelings, first what you've understood and then how you're feeling about it. And then if you are not very comfortable with it, suggest an alternative course of action. But it should be a course of action which takes into account both your needs and requirements. However, in this process, conflicts happen. Okay. Now, conflicts are not really fights. Okay. Conflicts are just diversity. So when you diverse opinions, diverse ways. So once you learn to celebrate this diversity, you practice acceptance, then you will learn how to celebrate conflicts also. And then conflicts will not invariably lead to fight. It will not become an ego tussle at that time. So just accept conflict. It's okay. It happens. Okay. How do you come out of that conflict? How are you able to present a better solution? And that is where the moment you're able to think in those lines, that is when you gain your power in negotiation. So negotiations between conflicting parties is like crossing a river on slippery rocks. It's risky, but it's the only way to get across, because you know that the parties are conflicting, the ideologies are not the same, the POVs are different. So it's a slippery rock, it's a very, very slippery way, very risky, but unfortunately that's the only way. And so the more you prove it, the more you understand and implement how to perfectly take care of it, better it is. Or your chances of swimming through it becomes much more. The strategies here are that you have to stay calm and composed. Do not, particularly when there are conflicting parties, do not let the cool of your head go away. Always talk positive, okay? Don't let negativity come into picture. Address issues and not personalities. This is the most vital term, okay? The most vital information. You have to solve and resolve the issue. You don't have to like or dislike the person. So please do not focus on the personalities, address the issues. Validate each other's point of view. Okay, weigh that point of view and then decide which side you want to be on. Be sure of your facts. Just don't, you may think of something, but that thought has to be validated with facts. So unless you have facts, just stay quiet. So maybe listen more in that case, or work on your facts before you present it on the negotiating table. Never ever exaggerate. Absolutely do not do. Your needs, requirements, and goals should be properly stated. You strive for a resolution which is a win-win. So negotiation basically means that you arrive at a solution wherein everyone gets something, right? It's a win-win that you arrive at. So these are the strategies and this is the process in negotiation that you apply when you are on the table to negotiate. Okay, some people may get aggressive, they may show aggression. In that case, you can always assert your right to refuse to participate unless the behavior is modified. You should always respond assertively. You don't have to fight back. You don't have to show your aggressive side. Your goals should be absolutely clearly established and stated on the table. You should know to what extent you can go, to compromise when you are on the negotiating table. So both what I want to do, what I want to achieve, and to achieve that, what am I prepared to lose? कहाँ तक मैं ये कर सकता हूँ या कर सकती हूँ? उसके बाद is a no-go. This is my stop loss point. I refuse to go beyond that. Okay, and just put your foot down at that point. But you should know that very clearly. And then you decide whether you want to deal or not deal with the other party. If you think that they are really they're really trying to exploit you in the name of negotiation, you have full right to get up from that table, and by stating the clear reason. Okay, so that right always remains with you, but it should be clearly established. Okay, so that's